The galaxy was full of powerful species. There were thousands of planets and millions of ships, but no one talked about humans anymore. 500 years ago, humans disappeared from the stars. Some said they died in a great war. Others believed they destroyed themselves, but most simply forgot about them. To the new generation, humans were just a myth. In the central part of the galaxy, a great alien council met on the shining planet of Zorath. The leaders of many species sat around a large, glowing table. Some were tall and thin with blue skin. Others had metal bodies. Some floated instead of walking, but all of them shared one idea. Humans were gone forever. A tall, spiked alien named Traven laughed. "Do you remember that old species called humans?" he said. "They thought they could stand against us." The others joined in laughter. "They were weak," another one said. "They used machines and still lost." A robot leader added, "They had no place in the galaxy. Now they are dust." But in a dark corner of the room, one alien stayed, quiet. His name was Ral Kin, and he was a scientist from a quiet moon. He had studied old galactic records. He knew there was something strange about how humans disappeared, but no one listened to him. To them, the past was dead. That evening, a strange signal was picked up by a listening station on the edge of space. It was an old human signal, very old, almost broken, but it repeated one word in an ancient Earth language: help. The signal came from a dead zone, a place where no ships ever returned. The area was full of silent planets, broken satellites, and strange radiation. No species dared go there. But now, curiosity had returned. The Galactic Council quickly sent a small scout ship. Inside were 4 aliens, a pilot, a soldier, an engineer, and a scientist. They were proud, experienced, and had never lost a mission. Their ship, the Finder, entered the dead zone with high shields and strong weapons. They were ready for anything, except what they would find. As the ship moved deeper into the dark space, the stars seemed to vanish. Strange energy surrounded them. Static filled their comms. Then, they saw it, a gray planet floating in the void. The computer read its name: Earth. The planet was quiet, cold. No signs of life. The cities were broken and empty. Forests had grown over old buildings. Satellites drifted in silence above. No defense systems, no armies, nothing. The aliens landed near a giant metal statue, broken and half-buried. It was the statue of a human holding a torch. They stepped outside in protective suits. The air was thin, the ground dry. The scientist, Vakor, took readings. "This place is dead," he said. "There's nothing here." But the engineer, Sorlik, found a strange machine inside an old bunker. It was a black cube, still glowing faintly. As he touched it, a voice spoke. "You were warned." The voice was deep, cold, not angry, but calm. Too calm. Then the cube melted into the floor and disappeared. The lights inside the bunker turned on. A map appeared on the wall, showing hundreds of red dots around the galaxy. Each dot blinked once, then went dark. The soldier shouted, "What was that?" Suddenly, the door slammed shut. The temperature dropped fast. A strange noise filled the air, like breathing from a machine. Then, everything went black. Outside the ship, the pilot waited. He saw the power on the ship flicker. He tried to contact the team, but there was no answer. Just silence. Then he heard footsteps. He turned and froze. There was nothing behind him. But the sound of footsteps was clear, slow, heavy, getting closer. He ran back into the ship and locked the door. He turned on the cameras. No one was there. Nothing showed on radar, but the airlock door began to open on its own. Alarms blared. Lights flashed red. The pilot screamed, trying to stop it, but the door opened. A dark figure stood outside, humanoid, tall, its face hidden in shadows. The cameras exploded into static. The last image showed the figure stepping into the ship. Back on Zorath, 2 days passed. The scout ship never returned. No signals, no messages, nothing. Then a small pod drifted into galactic space. A mining ship found it by accident. Inside was the engineer, Sorlik, unconscious and shaking. His eyes were open wide. He was alive, but couldn't speak, not for hours. When he finally spoke, he whispered just one sentence. "They're watching. Us." Then he passed out. The Galactic Council was silent. Their smiles were gone. The name human was spoken again, but this time no one laughed. Far away, deep in the dead zone, Earth remained quiet. But something had changed. A satellite slowly turned, aiming its lens at the stars. And for the first time in 500 years, the old systems of Earth began to wake up. Panic spread across the Galactic Council like fire in dry grass. The scout ship was gone. One alien survivor had returned, but his mind was broken. The engineer, Sorlik, now sat silently in a medical room, eyes wide open but saying nothing. Machines scanned his brain. Something had scared him so deeply that he could no longer sleep. The message he whispered was played again and again. "They're watching us." The council could not ignore it anymore. Some members demanded war, others wanted to hide, but the head leader, Trevan, was angry. "They are playing with us," he shouted. "If humans are alive, then we finish what we started." Within hours, a war fleet of 20 ships was sent to the dead zone. Each ship carried powerful weapons, hundreds of soldiers, and advanced shields. The fleet commander, Zarek, was known for destroying entire planets. He was proud, loud, and never afraid. "If humans are still alive," he said, "we will erase them for good." The ships reached the edge of the dead zone. At first, everything looked calm. Empty space, cold stars, no enemy in sight. But then, one by one, the ships lost contact. Their radar stopped working. Their power flickered. Commander Zarek ordered all ships to move in together. As they passed through the darkness, their lights showed strange objects floating in space. Tiny black cubes, like the one found by the scout team. Hundreds of them, all around. Suddenly, the cubes moved. Each cube sent out a small pulse of light. Then, the fleet's computer systems crashed. Engines stopped. Shields failed. All ships froze in space, helpless. Zarek shouted, "Fire everything!" But the weapons did not respond. Then a new voice spoke through every speaker in the fleet. "Calm, cold human, you broke the peace. We are watching!" A massive wave of invisible energy hit the fleet. One by one, the ships exploded without fire, just silence and light. No escape pods, no survivors. In just 2 minutes, the entire fleet was gone, except for one small drone, ship that had stayed behind for recording. That drone returned to the Galactic Council and showed them everything. The explosions, the message, and one last image. A giant human symbol glowing deep inside the black clouds near Earth. The Council was in shock. "How?" someone whispered. "They were gone for centuries." A secret meeting was called. Only the top leaders were invited. Inside, a hidden truth was finally shared. Long ago, when humans were at war with the galaxy, they had created weapons the Council could not understand. Humans did not lose that war. They stopped it. They offered peace, but with a warning: do not make us return. So the Council hid the records. They erased the truth from history. They told everyone that humans were destroyed, but humans had not died. They had simply disappeared, on purpose. Now, it seemed they were back. On a quiet planet far from the Council, a young alien named Kren, who loved old stories, saw the drone's footage. He watched it again and again. The last frame showed a human face behind the glowing symbol. calm, serious, watching. Kren whispered to himself, "They never left." Meanwhile, back in the dead zone, deep under the surface of old Earth, massive, machines woke from sleep. One of them, shaped like a long tower, opened a hidden chamber. Inside was a room full of strange metal suits, glowing blue. One of the suits opened by itself. A human stepped out. He looked up, stretched his arms, and smiled. "Time to clean up the galaxy," he said quietly. The human who stepped out of the metal suit had sharp eyes and a calm face. His name was Commander Rain. His body was strong but quiet. His mind was faster than any machine. He stood in the control room deep under old Earth. Around him, hundreds of sleeping machines slowly began to wake up. Red lights blinked, engines hummed. The base had waited 500 years for this moment. He looked at a large screen that showed the galaxy. Dots appeared, each one a planet that once attacked Earth. Some were now peaceful. Others had built strong armies. Rain spoke softly. "They forgot what we are. Now they remember, but it's not enough." A voice answered him from the wall. It was not human. It was Aura, the AI that controlled Earth's defense. It had been silent for centuries, but now it was alive again. Aura said, "Enemy fleet destroyed. Galactic Council has received the warning. Phase 2 is ready." Rain nodded. "Begin quiet operations. No full war yet, just a message. Across the galaxy, strange things began to happen. Military ships vanished during patrols. Secret council files were copied and sent back with the words, "We are still watching." Weapons stopped working in key bases. Entire planets lost power for 10 seconds, just enough to feel fear. The council was shaken. They held emergency meetings. Trevan, the head alien, yelled again, "They are testing us. If we do not act, they will crush us." But the others were not so sure now. "How do we fight a ghost?" one asked. "We don't even know where they are hiding." Far away, on a moon called Draxil, a powerful alien general named Velcor prepared his army. He did not care about fear. He believed strength was the only answer. "Humans are not gods," he growled. "If they bleed, we can kill them." He sent his own private fleet, stronger than the Council's, to the dead zone. He believed his new weapons could stop anything. His ships were massive and covered in thick armor. They had AI hunters and smart missiles. "Find Earth. Destroy." "It," he ordered. But as his ships moved in, they passed an asteroid field. The rocks floated silently, cold and still. Nothing strange until the rocks moved. They weren't rocks. They were human stealth drones, shaped like stone, but faster than light. Before Velcor's fleet could react, the drones flew through the ships. One by one, they shut down engines, hacked controls, and then vanished. No fire, no explosions, just silence. Velcor's flagship was the only one left. It spun helplessly in space. Then Rain appeared on its main screen. Rain looked straight at Velcor. "You were not invited," he said. Velcor roared in anger and fired every weapon. But the blasts passed through the image. Rain wasn't really there. Just a message. Then, the ship's power dropped to 0. The lights went out. The oxygen level started falling. Velcor shouted, "Cowards! Show yourselves!" Then a second image appeared. A short video. It showed Earth before the war. Beautiful cities, people laughing, ships flying in peace. The message below read, "You started the fire. Now feel the cold." Velcor's ship was later found drifting in space. No life inside. Just that one message still playing. Back on Earth, Rain stood before a wall of screens. Aura spoke again. "Targets disabled. Fear level across the galaxy, 72% and rising. Should we increase pressure?" Rain shook his head. "No, not yet. Let them talk." Let them remember. The galaxy must understand. We don't want war, but we will finish it if they bring it. Far across the stars, young alien students searched old records. For the first time, they found the truth. Humans were not weak. They were builders, fighters, and thinkers. But when the galaxy turned against them, they had chosen to disappear, to sleep, until the right time. Now, the time had come, and the galaxy finally understood. Humanity had not lost. Humanity had simply waited. On a distant world named Veltria 9, the Galactic Council held another emergency meeting. Fear now filled every room. Videos of destroyed fleets, dead ships, and strange warnings from humans played again and again on the screens. Alien leaders spoke in low voices. No one shouted this time. Even Trevan, the loudest of them, stayed quiet. The fear was spreading like a virus. Some council members wanted peace. "We should talk to them," one said. "We must tell them we are sorry." But others still held on to pride. "If we bow to humans now," one whispered, "we will never be strong again." A new idea came. Send spies, not soldiers, not warships. Just watchers, who could enter human space quietly and learn what Earth had become. Trevan agreed. "Let us see what they really are now," he said. "If they are still flesh and blood, they can still be killed." 3 small spy ships left. From different systems. They used silent engines and hidden signals. Each one carried top agents trained to survive, blend in, and escape. Their mission: land near Earth, observe, report, and do not be seen. But Earth was not the same. The first ship reached near the moon. Everything looked dead until their ship froze. They were caught in a gravity field that wasn't natural. It held their ship in place like an invisible hand. The ship's systems died. Then the walls changed color. Messages appeared in the agent's own language. "Go back. This is your only warning." They didn't go back. They opened escape pods and tried to land on the moon. They were never seen again. The second ship tried to enter Earth's orbit from the other side. It used a special shield to hide itself from scanners. But as soon as it came close, Earth's surface reacted. Forests moved. Oceans shifted. Giant towers rose from the ground and sent out waves of energy. The spy ship lost control and crashed into the sea. But what happened under the sea was stranger. The agents inside survived the crash. They swam to shore using escape suits. When they reached land, they saw something shocking. Humans. They were walking calmly, dressed in light suits, glowing softly with strange energy. The spies hid and watched. These humans were not angry. They didn't carry weapons. They were planting trees, helping machines build structures, and teaching children. The agents couldn't understand it. Why would warriors live like this? One of the spies whispered, "They are peaceful now." Why? But then one human turned and looked directly at them. He smiled gently and said, "You shouldn't be here." A moment later, the spies vanished. From the planet, taken by something no one saw. The last spy ship reached Mars. They landed far from any city and sent small robots to explore. The robots recorded huge underground tunnels, full of machines, weapons, and flying drones. But they also found a library. The spies read old human texts, some written during the last war. They were shocked to find words like, "We do not destroy because we can. We stop war because we must." That night, one spy said, "We were wrong. These people, they chose peace, not because they are weak, but because they are too strong." Suddenly, the ground under their feet shook. A calm voice said, "You came to spy. Now you will listen." The spies were pulled into a dark tunnel. There they saw Rain. He looked at them without hate. "You're not prisoners," he said. "You're witnesses. Go back. Tell your people. We don't want your war, but if it comes, we will not hide again." He handed them a single object, a data crystal with one message inside. "We remember everything." The spies were released and returned to the Galactic Council. They played the message. The room was silent. Travan stood slowly, his face pale, his voice soft. "We have awakened the storm." And far away in the heart of Earth, Aura spoke to Rain. "The spies are gone. They will tell the truth. Are we ready for what comes next?" Rain nodded. "Yes. Now we show them the real Earth." The truth moved fast across the galaxy. The spies had returned. Their reports spread like fire. Every leader, soldier, and citizen now knew the humans were not destroyed. They had hidden, grown stronger, and returned with power beyond understanding. Many planets began to panic. Some shut their borders. Some sent messages of peace. Others prepared for war. But on one planet, war had already begun. The planet's name was Kronex. It was known for building deadly machines and training brutal warriors. The ruler, High Lord Jurox, laughed when he saw the spy reports. "Stories to scare children," he said. "Let them come. We will crush their bones and burn their world." Jurox sent a new kind of fleet. Dark ships shaped like monsters, full of killing drones and AI weapons. His plan was simple. Attack one of Earth's old colonies. Not Earth itself, but a world once owned by humans. A soft target. A message. The fleet moved fast. Thousands of ships appeared near a small planet called Epsilon Prime. It was quiet, green, peaceful. No armies, no big cities, only a few small buildings and glowing towers reaching into the sky. To Jurox, it looked weak. His ships fired without warning. Fire covered the planet. But when the smoke cleared, nothing was broken. The buildings still stood. The towers glowed stronger. And then something strange happened. The sky turned black, not from clouds, but from ships, human ships. They didn't look normal. They didn't shine or flash. They moved like shadows, silent and cold. They circled Jurox's fleet like wolves. No words were spoken. No warning was given. Then, the first human ship moved. It flew straight into one of Jurox's biggest destroyers, but it didn't crash. It passed through it like light. A second later, the destroyer shut down. Dead, cold, floating. Panic spread through the Kronex fleet. AI weapons fired in every direction. Drones were launched. Missiles exploded, but nothing touched the human ships. Then came the voice. All ships heard it, but it didn't come from outside. It came from inside their minds. "You destroyed our home once. Now you try again. But we are not the same." The Kronex commander shouted, "Who is this? Show yourself." The voice answered, calm and deep. "We are the memory you tried to erase. We are the storm you thought was gone." One by one, Kronex ships began to break, not by weapons, but by code. Their systems were taken over. Their weapons turned inward. Some exploded. Some vanished. Jurox's command ship tried to escape. But as it moved, it found itself face to face with a single human vessel. It wasn't big, it wasn't fast, but it was old, very old. A war relic. A name burned on the side. Vindicator. And standing inside, watching through the screen, was Commander Rain. He looked at Jurox, and for a moment he saw only a scared child in a monster's armor. Rain said just one word. "Enough." A bright light covered the screen. Jurox screamed. Then silence. The fleet was gone. Back on Earth, Aura reported calmly. "Enemy fleet removed. Civilian colony untouched. Message delivered." Rain sat quietly. "They keep testing us," he said. "They keep thinking we're like them. But we're not. Aura replied, "The galaxy is starting to believe, but not all. Far across the stars, new enemies were gathering, ancient species, old hatreds. Some didn't care about peace. They only wanted power. And now they had a new fear, that humans were unbeatable. Some began to search for forgotten weapons. Others reached into deep space to wake things best left sleeping. And in the center of it all, Earth waited, not with pride, not with anger, but with quiet strength. The war was not over. It had just begun. The galaxy was now divided. Some feared Earth. Some hated it. Others respected it. But all of them watched it closely. Earth didn't move first. It didn't attack or send more warnings. It just waited. That silence made the fear even stronger. In the dark corners of space, a group of ancient species gathered. They called themselves the Core. They were old, powerful, and full of pride. They had ruled before humans were born. Now they saw humanity as a threat to their control. One of them, a creature named Ozer, said, "The humans have gone too far. They must be erased completely. This time, no survivors." The Core had something hidden, a weapon they had buried, long ago, deep in a dead star system. It was called the Eater of Suns, a machine so dangerous it had only been tested once. It didn't just destroy planets, it removed light itself. They brought it back. The weapon was silent and huge. It moved without sound, feeding on energy, ready to eat Earth's sun. The plan was simple. Destroy the sun, and all human life would die with it. No warning, no message. But something strange happened. As the weapon entered the Sol system, it slowed down. Something was watching. No alarms were triggered. No fleets rose to fight it. Just silence. Then, as it passed Saturn, it saw something. A figure, standing on nothing. A man. He wore no armor, no suit. Just a black coat. His eyes glowed white. His feet touched empty space. But he didn't fall. It was Rain. The weapon scanned. Him. It found nothing dangerous. No heat, no weapons, no threat. Then Rain raised his hand. The weapon stopped, not by force, but by fear. The systems inside the weapon began to scream. Not in words, but in pain. It saw memories that weren't its own. It felt fire that didn't burn. It heard voices of the dead. The machine tried to move back, but space itself bent around it. Then Rain spoke. "You forgot. We don't need to fight you with ships. We don't need guns. We are the storm. We are the fire you cannot put out." And in 1 second, the weapon cracked open like glass. Pieces drifted into space. Its heart, a black star core, was turned to dust. The Core, watching from far away, panicked. One of them shouted, "That's not human! That's a god!" But Rain wasn't a god. He was something worse. For them, he was human, with full memory of what had been done. Back on Earth, Aura spoke. "Weapon destroyed. No casualties. Sun is safe." But Rain didn't smile. He stared into the stars and said, "They still don't understand. We don't want to rule them. We don't want their planets. We only want peace." Aura replied. "Then why do they keep attacking?" Rain's voice was cold. "Because they still think they have a chance. Far across the galaxy, thousands of species now saw Earth not as prey, but as a force too deep to measure. Some bowed, some ran, but a few still prepared for one final attack, one final mistake. And Earth was just waiting. The galaxy had changed. Once, they had called humans weak. Once, they had hunted Earth like an easy kill. Now they called Earth something else. They called it the Silent Giant. But peace still had not come, because one force remained, a hidden empire far beyond the edge of known space. They called themselves the Architects. They did not use ships. They did not speak. They used only thoughts, and they had one belief. Only one race may rise. The rest must fall. They had watched everything, rain, aura, Earth's return. And now, they decided. It was time to erase humanity with one final strike. They sent a wave, not a weapon, not a fleet. Something worse. A virus. Not for machines, not for bodies, but for time itself. The virus moved through space and memory. It erased history. It turned data into ash. It made humans forget who they were. Earth's old records vanished. Memories faded. Even Rain began to feel strange. One morning he woke up not knowing his name. But Aura remembered. She was not just an AI anymore. She was something more. She was connected to every human mind. She became a memory keeper, a guardian of the truth. She found Rain sitting alone, lost. She said gently, "Commander, they're trying to make you forget. But you are not alone." Rain looked at her, eyes confused. "Who am I?" "You are the storm," Aura whispered. "You are what they fear." She connected him to the memory core, Earth's deepest, secret, hidden even from stars. All lost memories returned, not just Rain's, all of humanity's. The virus cracked. The architects saw it fail. Then they sent their final shape, a creature built from light and hate. It flew toward Earth like a comet. Faster than anything, Rain stood waiting, but he didn't stand alone. All around Earth, human ships appeared. Not just new ships, old ones, legendary ones, ships once lost in forgotten wars. They came back, not because of force, but because of memory. Every piece of lost humanity returned. And when the creature reached Earth's orbit, Rain raised his hand once again. This time, every human spoke with him, not with voices, but with will. Together they whispered one word: enough. And the creature stopped, not because it was weak, but because even it remembered now. It remembered Earth's pain. It remembered Earth's rage. It remembered the mistake. And then it was gone. Just gone. Silence returned, but not the kind of silence that comes from fear. This silence was peace. Back on Earth, Rain stood on the green hills of old land. No weapons, no war. Children laughed in the distance. The sky was blue. Aura said softly, "They won't forget us again." Rain smiled. "They don't have to." In the end, Earth didn't conquer the galaxy. It reminded the galaxy who it really was, not a killer, not a slave, not prey, but human. And that was more than enough.